let's start from the top here.
Wait.
Respiratory system. This is the nasal cavity, right? These bones sticking out of the side of the nasal cavity, that's the those are the nasal conchae, right? Now at the back of the nasal cavity we have the nasopharynx, this, right? Now as you go further down, the this is the larynx, or what you call the voice box, and beneath the larynx we have the
Trachea.
trachea here, right? Now if we can't take this apart, okay. Alright, so as we go down in here, the trachea goes down deep inside the mediastinum, and it branches into the left and right primary bronchi, right? Right primary bronchus, left primary bronchus. This is trachea here. Each primary bronchus go to a lung. This is right lung. This is left lung. As each of the bronchi enters the lung, they split further into secondary bronchi, which split further into what? Tertiary bronchi, which split further into what? Bronchioles, right? And we will stop at bronchioles because it's too microscopic to see on this model, right? Okay, now beneath the lungs, right? We have the main respiratory muscle we call the diaphragm. It's just on top of just beneath the lungs, but above the level of this organ we call the liver. Okay. All right. Now let's go through the parts of the digestive system now. Now the digestive system starts with the mouth, right? This is the oral cavity. In the oral cavity we have the tongue, right? One of the teeth is showing here, one tooth showing here. Now at the base of the mouth, beneath the nasal cavity, in the oral cavity we have the sublingual gland, and this other gland we call it the submandibular gland. These are salivary glands. They make saliva, which breaks down carbohydrates in the mouth. Okay. Now, behind the oral cavity is a part of the pharynx we call the oropharynx. We do not see that. We cannot see it on the model. All right. Now, the food, when it goes down, when it leaves the pharynx, it enters the esophagus, which is behind the trachea. We cannot see it here because we'll have to pull apart all these models in front, but the model is not made for that. So if we remove the heart, you'll find that behind where the heart is located is the esophagus. So the esophagus runs down
that
behind the heart.
Thing, right?
Yeah, right. And it goes down here, and then it enters the stomach, right? Now, so the stomach this is the stomach. Right on top of the stomach is the liver, right? This liver makes the bile, which is stored in this organ here, the gallbladder, right? And the purpose of bile is for the digestion of fats in the small intestine. Okay. So from the stomach, if you look at the stomach tapered off, become very smaller at the distal end, right? That's the pyloric region, and the pyloric region of the stomach continues to form the first part of the small intestine. What do we call that first part of the small intestine? I forgot. What is it?
Duodenum?
The duodenum, yes. So the duodenum will be this structure in here, right? Okay, that's the duodenum.
Wait.
All right, that's the duodenum, and then following the duodenum, right, we have the other region, right? We call the jejunum, but let's figure out what's the jejunum first. All right. Now this part, right? This structure here is part of the small intestine. It's the end of the of the uh, of the ileum. All right. So if you go by the color of this, then which part of this represent the ileum?
The left part and the dark.
Which part of it?
The lighter part.
The lighter part, this part. Okay, so the lighter part here is the ileum, right? Good. So then, if you know where that's ileum, and this is jejunum, then where's the this is the duodenum. This is ileum. Where's the jejunum?
The one in the middle.
The one in the middle. This one here. All right. It's look a little pink in color. All right. Good. All right. Now, the ileum, right, is connected to the first part of the large intestine we call the cecum. But for materials to get into the cecum, they have to pass through this valve here. Do you guys remember what we call this valve?
Sphincter.
It's a sphincter, but what is it called? Look it up. It's a very what?
Not the pyloric, right?
No. Pyloric, you'll feel that. The pyloric is before this.
Okay.
This is the ileocecal sphincter. Ileo means what? Ileum, and cecal comes from cecum, alright? So this is the valve. So the food will have to pass through this valve before entering the beginning of the large intestine. Now, the cecum, this is the cecum here, but the tip of the cecum is a structure that goes inward, right? That is the that structure is the appendix, all right? That's the appendix, right? You can only see it from the side. Now, from the cecum, materials go up through the ascending or ascending colon, which move across like this, right? Then goes across like this. We call it transverse colon. Then from the transverse colon goes downward, form the descending colon, which then at the distal end forms something like an S, where it curves toward the back and then toward the front to become the sigmoid colon. So this is your sigmoid colon in here, right? It has a shape like an S, and then from the sigmoid colon, sigmoid colon. Then you'll have to remove this part here to see the the anus. The anus is up here, and the rectum is down here, right?
Where's the anus again?
It's up here. That's the rectum, anus, right? Okay, good. Now on the other model,